There's some people. It's funny when you think people love you, man, they hate your guts. I never had no problems too much out of the streets. My problems always came within. As I look at Michael Jackson and Jermaine and Latoya and many others probably in this family, to Hammer, you know, to Mike Tyson, we talking about friends and family, to Master P and his son, daughter. It's sad because we love our family so deeply. We'll die for our family. It's where we work real hard to make sure that our families are safe. Besides ourselves, man, it's crazy. I didn't have that much money like people might have thought. You know, I remember I finna put my life on the line because I sat with about 20 people and we had cell phones that had the little recorder on it and the recorders on the phones on the that you call to your house and you have a little recorder on the phone. And I sat down with 20 people. Silky Fine, Rome, everybody. All the artists that was with me. I'm looking to try to blow this artist up. These artists up. So I want to try to promote the first artist I had. Juvenile Committee. So I said, I want everybody and Silky and Rome stuff. So I said, I want everybody to come with a piece of paper that had 20 names on it, family names and friend names, with the songs I'm getting ready to put out. Silky, Rome, Juvenile Committee. And so 20 people in your family, the way they had a song playing on their cell phone, when you answer they can hear it, song playing on the answer recorder. So everybody say, okay, they're all happy, I feel good. We as a team, we as a family, we finna make this happen. So I take a ride in my Mercedes, blue Mercedes. So I'm going through this neighborhood on Florence and Central. And it's Blood neighborhood. Everybody know me. I can go in the Blood neighborhood and definitely the Crip neighborhood. Everybody know me, but they can't see me in the car. They know that this car is mine. So I get a phone call that the guy from Warner Brothers just got fired. And I had 2 deals going on up there. So I'm disgruntled because I know that all these kids and people depending on me to try to make it happen so I can change their lives. But before then, you know, I'm putting people in Mercedes. I didn't believe in car notes at that time. So everybody had to have a car note. I don't care how, didn't have a car note. I don't care how young you is. When I started getting the money, before the time, Juvenile Committee was going in at that time. They left during the process of talking about the songs. So I'm still want to try to make something happen for them still too though, because I love the kids. They didn't know that. But Second Rome was still there, and G Wiz. So I get the phone call that the guy got fired. And I'm looking at all of them depending on me. They depending on Big Mike to make this happen. You know? And really depending on Big Mike. I didn't call myself Big Mike. They call me Big Mike. So I'm stressed out. And so I had my man call up there to see what's going on. Craig. He said, yeah, man. They dropped you. The deal you're getting ain't gonna happen. So I'm so frustrated. Changed my life, trying to get my life together, so I can make sure family and friends eat. All of a sudden, this new dude come there and shatter me. And I was so stressed out till I said, man, I'm finna go crazy because those kids, people depending on me. So all of them depending on me. So I told my friend, I said, man, if this dude don't give us the deal back again, he gonna have major problems. So I was ready to give up. I know I was, because if I do something to this guy, I know I'm going to jail for life. But for my friends and family, I didn't care. I felt that the guy could have called me and let me know when we sit down and talk. So I said, man, I got to do what I got to do. And I kept calling Craig and said, man, set me a meeting up. 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 So he finally got through to the guy. Guy called me up for a meeting. And I said, if he don't give me this deal, man, I'm finna go crazy. So I took my man up to Big Steve, Big Pat. Both of them had about 22-inch arms. All three of us look like we eat people, look like we tear people's head off, including me. So my mind was thinking crazy and wild because of my friends and family. And I want to, I want to give these people a dream. Because I know that when I got put in a wheelchair, everybody abandoned me and left me, except for my mother and sister and brothers. And they abandoned me and left me. My friends. I was hurt, messed up, but at the end I forgave them when I came up. I'm glad they did left me because it really built me up to really become a man. If they would have been around me, they'd probably been pushing me around. I probably would have became disabled and handicapped. So once I won, got it right, I brought them back around me. So all of them, the artists believed in me. I believed in them. And so that's what made me fierce and ready to just go to jail. And I could have, the way I was thinking, I could have went to jail for life or anything. So I called. Got the meeting. So I'm thinking crazy as hell what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, what all kind of stuff. Just taking crazy. Crazy when I get there. And something hit me. And I knew it was God. I knew it was God. And it said, won't you find out about this guy? Won't you find out about him? Know something about him before you start thinking ignorant and crazy and dumb and stuff. I know you love your family and your friends. You want to do everything you can to make sure that they don't end up in a position like how you were, helpless until you got your life together. So I did my homework on the guy and found out this guy produced a couple of songs. They were white songs. But the two white songs I liked, still play the song today. And I liked them real lot. So when I got there, it was me, Big Pat, and Steve. And the white guy was scared to death. He was shaking. Hands were shaking. And so I just hauled up and brought my voice real high. I thought about Michael Jackson. How his voice was high. I worked with him before. I produced quite a few of his groups and put Teddy Riley with him. And so I thought about how he utilized himself in a good way. But he sang one way and talk another way. I respected the hell out of him. He was dope. All that gay stuff they talking about, yeah, sure. That dude was far from being gay. Dude was screwing chicks in the truck and closet and all kind of stuff. I really admired him. So I brought my voice way up octave. Didn't want to sound like, yeah, man, why you do this and this and that and this and that. You know what I mean? I went for it after I found out the songs. And so I said, hey, man, he said, he's shaking. He said, what can I do for you, man? I said, man, I didn't know you did this song. And I started singing the song and like I'm dancing to it. He started explaining. Then I said, man, I didn't know you did this other song. Started singing it and dancing right into him. Got a look. All of a sudden, he wasn't shaking no more. I'm the one shaking that during the time. Hoping I could get the deal and help these kids out. He gave the deal back to me. And he explained to me why he dropped the groups. He said that's protocol. When new person come in, they normally drop the artist, the roster that they got, and come in with something fresh. So we became cool. He gave me the 2 deals back plus another one. So I went home, called a meeting with the 20 people, and, happy, feeling good. So I told him to give me the list. Not one person had a list. Not one. This about their career. Not one. None of them wanted to do no work, it's obvious. Thank God I was cool with the radio from doing We On the Same Game. Had to go up there and talk to them. Suge, Dr. Dre, and Snoop. They didn't know that I broke their record, The Chronic. Radio didn't want to have nothing to do with them because of the fact that they respected Eazy-E a lot. And they didn't like the fact that Jay went over there with Suge, and left Eazy. They felt he wasn't loyal. But I talked about Dre, whether he know it or not, and told him my friend, he my friend, Eazy my friend, and told him it was just business. You know what I mean? And so they played a song for me. Then I was cool with the guy from Power, Rick Cummings, and they also played a song at the Power. Trey and them didn't know that. I got $90,000 to get the record played, not to pay DJ, put in my pocket to work for it. At the same time, I took Blackstreet over there. So having that credibility helped me break Rome and Silky. They didn't really want to play them either. They felt Rome was kind of like an old school singer. One of the guys said he looked like he should be one of the Temptations. And they definitely wasn't too much into Silky. They heard things about that she was arrogant. Same thing Eazy told me. He said, man, leave her alone, don't mess with her. I hear her talk good about, Eazy, and say this and say that like he really loved her. She talked about all the artists that she was supposed to be with, Snoop Dogg and all these different things, like she's a real Grammy winner and stuff like that there. But I had to fight like hell to get her record played, hers and Rome. Her record only lasts 6 months on the chart, but she said she sold 40, and publishing, the sad thing about it, she ain't telling the truth. She said another girl had it and it was there for another girl, but she said she wrote the song. Well, how she wrote the song if another girl had it? The song way before she got there. Then she talked about my friend Fred. But she was with a guy named Keto Rock. Keto Rock was a friend of mine. He brought her. You know, I felt that she was too much of a problem, what Easy was telling me. But my friend brought her. I'm trying to change his life and better his life because I always stay loyal to all my friends, whether they wanted to stay loyal to me or not, through in the past. Once I made all of them succeed, put them in homes and cars and everything to try to get them to get off drugs, weed. I didn't allow none of that around me. And I didn't allow no gangster rap either. None of that. You know. But I carried a reputation. And when you have a reputation when you're young, you know, it's going to carry with you. If you got some kind of disease and people know you got a disease that can kill you or something, you know, when you're about 5 years old, somehow you're 50. You done got over the disease a year after that. But you're 50. You're going to find one person or maybe two people say, yo, he's still that person. So the stigma on me never got away, so I had to act it. Sometimes that I had to react to some of the things because there's always somebody trying to try you out, you know, and I knew if I let them get away with it, I'm going to have big problems, especially by me being in a wheelchair. So I reacted. I never liked the bullies because when I was a little kid, I was a bully. Guy got killed. You know, somehow, you know, I ended up talking to his brother and his friends and apologized. And it was cool. My sister ended up getting killed. So they forgave me, I forgave this guy. But I didn't let him know that. You know, for killing my sister, who she was married to. But then at the end of the rainbow, we go back to the story there. So I go back home. I had a meeting with everybody. You know, ready to go to jail for the rest of my life. You know, because those people depended on me. And I came home to see if the 20 people have any of the names, 20 names. I told them I wanted 20 names on each one of them. I did that because there were 20 people in there. Not one person. Not one. Not one had their names on it. And with no family, no friends. With their songs that I'm trying to put out. So I was really frustrated. I said, here, I'm finna throw my life away from all these people to try to better their life because of what I went through. Nobody didn't give me an opportunity. You know, I had to work for mine and really work hard. So even though I went to work real hard to try to make their life better, which some of them I did, still, I wanted them to work for theirs too. Not because I just gave them a car with a car, no car, you know, took Silky and 5 more other people, Rome and all them, riding in the car, about 5 of us. Rome wasn't in the car at that time. Took them to some apartments over there, townhomes over there on King Boulevard in La Cienega called the Cameo Apartments. You know, and said that they got some townhomes over there going for $70,000 and $60,000. So I gave Silky and all them $30,000 and told all of them, hey, yo, y'all can turn around and put down $5,000 on each one of these townhouses. That's going for $30,000. So that's 6 townhouses apiece. Maybe they might have gonna put 5 in their pocket and get to 5. And their notes would probably be about $300 to $400. And so the townhouse could be paying for themselves and they can live for the rest of their life. Not one of it did it. But they didn't do it. I did it myself for myself. with mines. Everybody thought I was doing real well. But the minute I get checks and shit, I'm passing them all out to everybody to make sure that they can eat, have a place. I done bought them cars. They don't tell the story. They're not going to be honest with the story. They're going to manipulate the story. So I took them there and told other people around me what to do with some of the money that I give them. But like I said, I did it myself. Every time I'm talking to people, if they don't listen, I listen to myself. So, as years passed, those townhouses went up to $500,000 to $400,000 apiece. That's within 10 years or less. I think it probably was about 3 years, 3 to 4 years. They went up to it. And if those people would have did what I said, they all would have been sort of wealthy because they could have sold those townhouses and bought other townhouses like I was trying to get them to do for the first one. But to see that anybody, especially Silky, to go and say that I stole from them, I cheated them. When she didn't even write that song, Black Chill wrote it. It was already done before she got there. Then she wanted to lie and say she wasn't signed to me. Then she went when that my lawyer called me 25 years afterwards and said, yo, Mike, I said, but sign whatever she want to sign. Wasn't a sign. You know? But I gave her the song anyway. You know? With the blessing of Chill. I talked to Chill. Good dude. Good dude. You know? And gave that to her. Then after 20 years, she said, I hooked her up with a rapist. You know, everybody had their issues. But I didn't run off from my friends or none of my friends. All my friends had problems. Just like Silky and many other people had problems. I stayed trying to be a soldier, make sure that I can change them for their problems because, you know, when I was in the street gangbanging real hard and doing shooting and robbing and all kind of stuff, I had a problem. So I felt that I could change people's life, but then you can have a bunch of people around you, so many people around you that been into the streets so hard for all different things. You're going to get that label. You're going to get to end up looking like the leader. Not knowing that I'm trying to change everybody's life around me, stop them from smoking, drugs, which I did, stop everybody from drinking, which I did, stop everybody from doing a lot of stuff. But now what some people still do behind the back, you have no knowledge of it, but you still going to be a soldier and be right there with them. But at the end of the rainbow, you get the name. Also, the reputation of all kind of different things. You know, I remember people said that I did something. Man, shit. I know I'm strong, and I know I'm strong, but damn, how you get into bed with me? You know what I mean? I'm paralyzed. You know, I can't have sex the way I want to. I be fronting like I do, but every woman that been with me know that I can't. You know, the only thing I might can do good is probably lick a little bit. That means my head got to be, no disrespect to nobody, between some girl's leg. And if you do something, they got the time to chop you in the head, jump off the bed, and many other stuff. You know? So you're going to get words and people say things about you. You know, but all I know that I work for God. And I want to do what I have to do. We know God, when he comes, he's going to turn around and destroy a lot of people. We know that. But we continue to do, people to continue to do wrong and low stuff. But I always worked for God and my mother. She was a good lady. For me trying to harm somebody, I'm not going to turn around and, raise my hand unless a person raise their hand up to me. Same thing with God finna do. He finna come down there and destroy a lot of bad people. And I know that he wouldn't have left me here because I got shot. And I got shot and hit in the lungs. Was in a coma. I saw what hell looked like. Never want to go there. That was the most scariest time of my life. So I said, man, I don't want to go there. I'm scared. You know what I mean? So, I got to do something right. But it's hard to think you're doing something right when you got other people around you that you love so much and they continue to do things behind your back. But I was so devastated about when Silky said what she said about me. I go to her house, but the same dude she talking about was this. She going, just see him. Then once I got to hanging around her real tough, to turn around because I felt we was cool. I looked at her like my little sister. I wanted to turn her into a business lady because I know that a lot of people wasn't feeling her raps. That's why she didn't become successful. I had to work real hard to try to do what I can to make the Romeo and Juliet hit. It only lasts 6 months. So I wanted to make her an A&R woman. So, we kept hanging around, talked to her mama, feeling cool. Mama and them made some stuff. So she had a sister. So I got interested in the sister. Sister was nice. She about 24. And I took her out. But then I saw that the sister had a personality that was different. And I really liked her, the sister. And so when I took her home, I heard that her and Silky had it out. So later down the line, the same friend that she was with came home. But before he came home, man, Silky called. She said, I always wanted to be with you, Mike. I swear my mama, that's what she said. I don't know if that's why her and her sister got into a fight or what. I always wanted to be with you. And when she told me that, it was hard for me to hang with her because I'm so loyal to my friend. And I was trying to talk to her sister. So all of a sudden she ran into the guy from Renee and Angela. He called me, said he wanted to do something with Silk. I was so happy to hear that because I didn't know what to do because I know that it was going to be hard for me to try to break her. So when he said that, and she said she wanted to go over there too, and I was so happy because she must have felt that it was going to be hard for me to do something with her. You know what I mean? So I signed over there. He gave me $90,000, I think $95,000 to sign her over there. Since she said I didn't have no papers on her. So she know. So I signed her over there like she wanted to get signed over there. She ran into him, not me. So he gave me $95,000. I wasn't going to take nothing. I'm just happy that somebody wanted to do business with her, you know what I mean? And me and her could stay friends. You know what I mean? Because that's what she wanted to do. And I was so happy, and she knew that my mind is going in the other direction and in real estate more. So I gave her the whole $95,000. So her and that same guy she was talking about, which was my friend, was still together. I never told him what she told me. That's before he went to jail, though. She got the 95 and about him been together. I said, well, give him, 20 of that. That was money Renee was paying me for her contract. I said, since y'all together, give him 20. Why I said that? Because they was together. They looked like they was in love at that time. So That was my money, not hers. And I gave it all to her and just told her to give him 20. And still pushed on her to try to get some real estate with that money. So I left and went on my own and started buying apartments because I had a few of them. So I was going through a lot of changes with the apartments. Most of them was in South Central. Still got some. So I bought them for like 100,000, 200,000. And like I said, what I tell people to do, I do it myself, putting 15,000, 20,000 on apartments. In about 2 years and a half, they went up to about 300, 400. So I started selling them because I didn't want to keep going through the hell I was going through in the areas that I was in. And bought more majority of townhouses, kept 2 of my apartments out there in LA. And I was so happy because now I done turned around and started like Rome. He didn't leave me. I left him at a time that his record was hot. You know? And the record company said, man, you ain't going nowhere. White guy put his finger poured it in my face. Said, you gonna stay right here. And I looked at him like, you lost your mind. I'm ready to go there with him. But then I said, man, be smart, be a businessman. So he said, we gonna give you, because Rome was big. So he said, we gonna give you 8. Rome lawyer called me, said, man, don't go, man. Rome is, so, don't go, Mike, stay there. The RCA, they cheating them, this and that, let's sue them and stuff like that. But I said, I probably would have stood tall. But when I went to NTV came up with doing something for NTV, and they brought some clothes looked like they were hippie clothes, and so I said, Rome won't like that. So I told Rome, I said, Rome, you like these clothes? He said, no, I don't like them. So I said, man, I'm not gonna make him look bad, which I always do, stand up for my friends and artists. So I said, he don't like that. They said, well, Rome said he like it. So I said, hey, Rome, come over. You like these clothes? He said, Mike, they're okay with me. I was hot because I had a relationship with NTV. And this guy, Trip. So I said, this is the last time that I'm gonna deal with this guy. Once I blew him up, he turned around and the Rome. So I left, and the guy said, well, we're gonna give you 800,000. Shit, I went crazy. I try to be tough, like I'm a tough guy, play like it ain't nothing, that ain't nothing. But man, I was just shaking internally, happy as hell. So I left Rome with them. He was happy. Nobody else wasn't happy because they knew how to might break that oldie record when you have Snoop Dogg and a lot of different groups out now, and his record was an oldie record, sort of. But I loved the song. That's why I put it out. And I felt it can go for people in weddings and all those type of things. I always looked at a ballad gonna always hit for the rest of your life. I don't care 90% what it is, Luther Vandross, all that. You know what I mean? I'm a Motown guy, so I know, and I love songs. So I knew that was gonna hit, and they did. The radio didn't think it was gonna hit at all, but I did. But then I knew that because of his attitude that I'm not gonna let this dude trick me into being street on him. So I decided to leave. And once I left, we was in the process of doing another second album. And once I left, everything went hell for him. I guess the record company didn't see what I saw. Not just the record company tripped out. Everybody at the record company got fired, including the CEO. I know why. Because they spend very little money on Rome and Silk. And the only thing that popped and hit with Silky song, she know it, was Romeo and Juliet. While I was there. The same thing with Rome, because I worked my butt off. Same thing when I did the song Teddy Bear and got them on the Senior Hall show. I was the first one sort of got a rapper on a news channel where they can do some rap on it, which was Silky. I was able to get Rome and the G Wiz guy on Senior Hall show because he respected me. We was cool with each other. Right after that deal, we all in the same game. But you find a lot of artists say they got cheated and got messed over. Some of them do. I didn't have to treat none of my artists. They all came in broke with nothing. Like I did. But I wanted to give them an opportunity. And she said that, the publishing person that was doing the publishing was a person she wanted. She turned me on to Madeline Smith. I liked the Madeline. And looked like Madeline liked the Silky. But then the girl that put her on the show to talk about you need to sue Mike for this and that and this and that. She been on my house too. When I moved into my new house. We talked about her cancer. I talked to her mother. Mother was sweet as hell. Oh, she was so sweet. And I was shocked when the girl got on there and said, you need to sue him. When you working at the publishing company, you know all this stuff. But you're going to wait till 10, 15, 20 years to turn around and bring up something to get a little noise. To say something about Mike. When I thought me and you was cool. We hugged each other. We talked. You know what I'm talking about. You was at my house. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm not going to mention your name, but you know who I'm talking about. You'll mention your own name by the time this get out there. But I didn't go mad and go crazy and go at y'all by the lies, because you was a rapper too. But people didn't want to deal with you and many other people because of your attitude. I was cool. Thought I was cool with all y'all. I respected what y'all was trying to do. But I know it's going to be hard for people to look at women as gangster rappers. I only know one that got out. But it was going to be hard for people to believe that. Y'all were good-looking women. Good-looking women. But I was really hurt when you got up there and said you need to sue them when you were working at the main publishing where we was getting our publishing and hurt. And she said that herself. If she was going to be mad at somebody, it'd be Madeline. Because you and Madeline had the relationship. Y'all had the relationship. She did all the business with you. She came from over there doing business with Eazy-E where you and Silk come from. And maybe this was the reason why my man still Easy told me. So we go back all the way back to when I talked about had 20 people in the living room. And that's what broke my heart and pushed me away. Sort of going into music as strong like I used to. I dibble and dab with it now. Because I saw there's no loyalty. People are, like I said, you find a lot of artists talk about how much money they lose, they got cheated. But no one tells the story. That's why they made that new contract now. Because the record companies wasn't getting paid. Only for the records. Yeah, artists should have got paid for the record. But they know most of us guys, sign artists, tours, we don't control the main record companies. You know that. You know that. We don't distribute the records. You know that. So all these independents talking about they get theirs distributed. So so you can fight them. You know? But us ones that's going through major record company, we don't distribute the records. We don't know what the sales is our damn self. Before you lie to turn around and say you got cheated and many other stuff. Wow. That devastated me. Devastated me. And I had other artists, because I had a relationship with Interscope, because I helped Interscope out. Interscope was filing bankruptcy until I brought Teddy up there and broke the chronic. Step, tell the truth. You the one came and asked me. David Corn, the one gave me the 90-something thousand to turn around and break the record. Come on with it, man. If I wouldn't have broke that record, it wouldn't have been no Interscope. Ted Fields, no. Jimmy, no. They brought me up there because of Suge, giving them a problem. But man, Suge, I went and talked to him, man, and told him, hey, man, keep your business, man, be careful, man. But man, I wasn't going to turn around and we try to go after him. A fight with him. He had respect and I had respect too. But my respect go farther for us the streets. Now for us the record business, I blew his shit up. So that made him get respect nationally. But when it came to the streets, I can go through any neighborhood. He couldn't. But we were cool with each other. He gave me $365,000. But I'm not going to get into that, what that was all about. It was for some other brothers that I want to see do good. And I spreaded the money with them and the artists. And went on about my business. I'm not going to discuss who that is. They know who he is. Because they like family to me. I want to see them win. One of them passed along. Good dude, soldier, straight up soldier. Loved the dude. Loved the other guys that was with him too. But the more of the story is, when I saw that they didn't bring that to help me promote their stuff, that's when my heart dropped and I wanted to leave the music business. I had producers signed to me. I had Johnny J under management and signed to me. I had Focus signed to me. I had Jinx signed to me as management. He the only one told the truth. And all those guys, Johnny J went on, good dude. Pocus, good dude. That's why I didn't go and challenge that. When Focus got to working with Dr. Dre, Johnny J got to working with Jinx. Got to working with Johnny J. Johnny J got to working with Tupac. Jinx got to working with Ice Cube. I could have went after all of them. I could have went after Teddy. He know. I the one got him with Michael Jackson, but he told somebody else, Clarence Avant and Quincy Jones. I don't know what they might have did afterwards. They had power, but I the one went over there and talked to Sandy Gallon and the other manager and put that together. Because I told Teddy, him and Heavy D was gambling, would he like to work with Michael Jackson? I got up in the morning, couldn't even talk right. When I got on the phone, called the corporate company, sounded like, a drunk or something, sounded tough. And I knew that they gonna try to figure out if I really was working with Teddy. Because I sounded like probably to them, like some stalker or something. They found out I did. That's after I got him signed to to Interscope. Then I went to Madonna house, called her manager, Freddie the Man. Then I told Jimmy Iovine, man, why don't you let him work with the Rolling Stones and U2? He ended up working with him. I made a lot of deals from him, took him out of his publishing deal. Yeah, his publishing deal was with two brothers, but they was with the mafia, doing business for the mafia. I didn't care nothing about that. Y'all TV shit. This is what I do every day. We don't want to go there. I wasn't trying to be all in no tough thing, but I didn't like bullies. Babyface was signed over there too. I think he was signed over there. But I took him out. I took Blackstreet out of MCA, was known to be tied with Mafia. I didn't want to hear about that either. So I went in there and negotiated. I didn't go in there on the gangster shit. I talked, had a meeting with Al Teller. And it worked out good. Took him over there to Interscope. To Reeboks. Reeboks was getting ready to file bankrupt. They had a CEO named Angel. When I did We All in the Same Gang over there, that means they had the biggest rappers in the world on their label. When I brought them over there to do We All in the Same Gang, it helped blow Reeboks back up. Then after that, I heard Steve Stouts went over there and did his thing. But it's cool because I love my people. But we go back to the artists, to Silky, to Rome. Silky song only lasted about 6 months, but she went on the road for about a year. Started off making about $1,500. When a record started blowing up, from my understanding, she ended up making $3,500 a day. But if you're going to the mall and you're doing all these different things, you're going to be broke, just like most artists. A lot of artists don't tell the story. They only tell the story about the black man that turned around that they signed to. Knowing that that black man don't run the record companies, how come they don't go after the major record companies? They always go after the black man that turn around and might have had a relationship with the company, but don't do no distribution or none of that kind of stuff. His contract is probably messed up too. I didn't give a damn. I just was looking for an opportunity. I couldn't read that well, no way, at all. So I didn't bother. Then I had a lawyer that was handling that. He was fresh out of school himself. So he trying to get his foot in the door. You know? Good dude. Liked him. You know? He might not understood a lot of things, how I was trying to position him. But he was a nice Christian guy. You know? But at the end of the rainbow, I didn't have to cheat nobody. Because I remember when I was young, all the way up to 22, 24, I was dumb. I was ignorant. I was stupid. I thought like the hood wanted me to think. Until my mother passed. And I started thinking about all the done what I caused her. And a lot of you other brothers need to listen to this. Because you always got somebody that you love very much that been in your corner to help you raise. Whether it's foster mothers, aunties, uncle that played like as a mother and a father, the mother that played as a father and the mother. We forget about them so easily. Not knowing that the police can come to the house because of stupid shit we do. And we might have a little sister, cousin, or anybody just happen to wake up because of the bang bang, the police coming in the door. And the police get started and shoot the little sister, the mama, or anybody, because they don't know who that is. Father might grab a gun, mama might grab a gun because she got one in the house, not knowing who that is, and get blown away. Because of our ignorance, our dumbness. So I was left here to think about what my mama put me through. What I put my mama through, I'm sorry. And it's taught me still today. And I said to my mother, when I come up there, I want to get a hug and not a whooping. So in order to get a hug, I knew that I got to make sure that my brothers and sisters them straight if they not straight. So I made sure that they had homes over their head with no notes. If I had a brother that might not be in the situation mental-wise at the time, I made sure that he had a roof over his head, any means necessary, if he had to stay with my sister, or me, or anybody. My sister took him on. When my older brother had problems, I was right there for him too. I was so disappointed in my brother to turn on me like he did. But that's all right, because I love my brothers and sisters. Still today, I'd die for them. Just still would die for my friends. I'm a soldier. I done had many artists and producers run off on me. Every one of them once they did good. Every one of them. And I had contracts on them for 7 years. I never attacked a situation at one time. Most of them left within a year, 2 years, maybe 3 years. Once they blew up, they left. I didn't bother to try to stop them. Silky, Rome, within a year that I blew them up. I left Rome, and Silky wanted to sign with this guy because she knew that my mind was going other places. I didn't turn around and be what they wanted me to be. Ignorant, or to any of them producers I named, ignorant. It's easy for them to forget. They know they had paperwork with me. Johnny J, Chill, Focus, and many others. But I never attacked the situation. I didn't have to cheat nobody. Money never ran me. Even though I got nice homes and property and everything, why I bought all those properties? My mind was to protect my friends and family, always. I built a house from the ground on up. A house would probably cost about, if I sold it, it'd be about worth 20 million, 30 million. But I only built that house for probably $2 million. $2 million. $2 million, over 9,000 square foot. $2 million. Over 26 years. 26 years, I almost got the biggest house in the valley. I sit there and I watch. Got the Spanish people, some Home Depot. First, I tried my own people first. One house, one guy was overcharging me. Found another brother. I see him reading a book on how to build a house as he building a house. Found another brother. What little we had built, he almost burned some of the shit. So I found a Christian Spanish guy. He came. Then I started working with the Spanish. But back and forth, I was working with my own people too, though. Back and forth. I always wanted to work with my people. It was more important for me to work with my people. I ain't racist, but I love working with my people more than anything. So I wind up building this house, watching, sitting there all day in the hot sun and everything, making sure that the people work. When, they say, well, we're going to go get some lunch. I'll send somebody out there to get the lunch for them so I can make sure I'm sitting right there until they finish the food so they wouldn't starve. And once they finished the house, they was pissed off at me. I gave them what they asked for. All the game is the same game, like the music business. They said, Mike, we want 150. Then as time passed, 250, then 3. I always gave them what they wanted, paying them by the day. Most of them so happy, they said, oh, shit, we getting what we want. But when they finished building what they built, they was pissed off. They act like they got cheated. All the game is the same game. I gave them what they wanted, what they asked for. And you'd think because a lot of them was builders that they'd know what they building. But then that's when I realized they just turn around and doing the framing. And by the time I keep turning around and orchestrating what I'm doing to what I want, developing, end up being something that they even imagine. So I wound up building that house. Why? I built it right there on Front Street where everybody could see me. I ain't scared of nobody. I don't have to turn around and live in no gated community and way up somewhere. I want to be right there where everybody can see me, right there on Sepulveda. Sepulveda, the biggest street, the longest street in the United States. Supposed to be. And so I wanted to have the biggest house. And, I heard they made a thing that you can't make a house bigger than mine on Sepulveda. So I wanted to represent why I wanted to bring that big house out. Because it was right there in the neighborhood where they didn't allow black people to move into until the Jacksons moved out there. So I wanted to represent my race, and I wanted people to turn around and see kids, not the high side and all that. Yeah, I like the house though. But I wanted to see kids, you can do anything you want, because I couldn't read nor walk, and I built this. And the thing about it, when I built the house, I didn't have no money when I was in Carson, because I kept giving it away, buying people cars and notes and doing many other stuff with people, clothes and many other stuff. So I was broke. So when I left Carson and broke away from the music business, this is the first time I ever had some money besides that $800,000 that I got from signing Rome directly to RCA. This is the first time I had some money. So I took that money, bought me a house over in Ladera Heights with that $800, had $500, and bought it cash, and then turned around and put some money on a few more properties, because I only had 2 when I left Carson. But then I put the money on some more property after I bought the house cash. Then a year after I got the house in Ladera, I said, man, I want to sell this house for $1 million. Because a lot of people over there looked at me like a ghetto person, you know? So I asked a couple of people, would they help me sell the house over there? That was a real estate person. They said, this guy kind of retarded. I knew that's what they were saying, because I paid $550 for the house. And they said, this old clown trying to sell his house for $1 million, and within a year, and him getting it, he's got to be crazy. So I ended up selling the house for $1,050,000. I know them people had to be very happy then, because that was in Ladera Heights, where the supposed to be people that were supposed to be sophisticated. But old tore up ghetto person who they thought gangster guy turned around and blew up all their property. All their property. And I went, saw the house I wanted, because I was mad because of the fact that I got a basketball player standing on the side of me. He wanted to be a gangster. Started bringing gangster people over to his house. And I told him he needs to stay being a basketball player, leave that alone. But he didn't listen. Next thing I know, he told me that they told him he got to pay taxes. So now when I see some guy walking up the thing, I confronted him, told him, dude, you know, you just don't come over here when you want to, really helping him out. Guy could have turned around and acted a fool. But I was strapped. And I know that he's on my property and the people in the back property. And what's he doing over there? And I wasn't worried about the basketball player, because he was coming over there to extort him. So those was my witness. But the guy understood me. You know, he knew who I was. He knew I wasn't playing with it. But we left cool. You know, he respected what I said. So I said to myself, I got to move out of here, man, because it's too close to Crenshaw. And I still got a little ignorance in me, but I don't want to harm none of my people. No more. No more black person. I was dumb, and I wanted to do things right with my family. And I wanted to make sure my friends are safe. And I wanted to go up there and get that hug from my mother. So I went and got that, bought the place in the valley, rode down there, got the place. It was a brother that owned the place. He had a lot of people wanting that place. But I paid him full price for it. He gave me a little hassle. But I got the place paid full price. So when I had the brother come over there trying to build something on there. And I looked, And somehow I just said, tear it down. So I went and got the papers and stuff so I could get it done. During the process of me turning around and building the house, I wanted to add a lot more stuff to it. So I asked the guy that the city sent over there, hey man, can I add this and add this? The white guy words directly to me said, I don't give a fuck what you built. Just long as the plumbing and the electric right. And I was ripped apart when that dude talked to me like that, the white guy. Knowing I was in a position to build that house so I could make sure family and friends are safe. I had a shovel in my hand. And he was looking in the hole. And I started to hit that dude right in the back of his head with that shovel. But God was with me and my mother was with me. You know, I said, Mike, remember what you said, your mother, what you gonna do? And I rolled back in my chair real fast so I couldn't think negative. Because I'd never been disrespected like that from a white person. And I'm not prejudiced. But I'm not looking for a person just to disrespect me like that because of the fact that he's the inspector of the house. He's there to inspect the house, not to disrespect me. But I was happy when he said that. Because I was happy when they left. You know, he told me some things I could do while I was there, so I built it. Back house, back. We got cool later on, the inspectors. Got cool. They ended up being cool. Told me if they ever need some concert tickets, let me know. So he said, man, you know, he said, man, go and build that. And I started building it. Some of the things I didn't get permit with, since he told me I can build it, and I'm listening to what he said. I don't give a fuck what you built. As long as you got elected and stuff, we gonna build it. So a lot of stuff I built while the inspector was there. So long as he was agreeing with it, I was cool with it. You know? And so people reporting, inspectors came over there a couple times, Mike, you know, they trying to complain over here about some of the things you're building. You know what I mean? Just be cool, go and do what you got to do and try to keep it low. I was cool what the white boy said. So I built that house because, like I said, I wanted to represent, I wanted to see kids see that big old house to show that I was used to be embarrassed to tell people I couldn't read nor walk. And I used to turn around and deal with a lot of different girlfriends because of the fact that it was kind of hard, you know, being in a wheelchair for people and you don't have sex the way they want you to have sex because you're paralyzed. So that and made me deal with so many different women trying to find the right one, not trying to be a player, but then at the end of the rainbow, because of the fact that I was dealing with so much women, you automatically gonna be a player. But I was really looking for someone I could love. I was married at one time, didn't work out right, but we still friends today and we still down together. We both raised the kids together. So I just got to dealing with women back and forth, hoping I could find another one. But it's hard being in a wheelchair. Then you become a real playboy. So the stigma that you had many years ago, it goes on. But your mind changed. You know, you're just trying to find one. And you'd be surprised sometimes because, you know, a lot of women, you know, want a woman to take care of them. I want a man to take care of them. And I can understand that and respect that. But I wanted a woman to be my partner, where we can work together, network together, and do things together. It was hard. It's been hard. You'd be surprised. Because I done ran into quite a few women that I really loved. And some of them really loved me. But then some things just didn't work out right. I wish it would have. But I take the blame for that. You know, because as I'm looking at this woman, spending time with this woman, I'm looking at another woman too, because I'm afraid that this woman might take off once she know that our sexual ain't right. So I was preparing myself for another, just in case. And it kept going. And I ended up being a player, not to hurt women. But a lot of people don't understand being in this wheelchair. But I loved every woman that I was with, because I would have never chose none of them to talk to if I didn't. Some of them loved me. Some of them was mad at me. Some of them didn't receive what they felt they need to receive, and what their ambition was to turn around and see what they can get out of me. But all I was looking for is real love, to get married once again. But the moral of the story is I built that house not to show off, to a certain extent. To a certain extent. I wanted to show that a black man can do this, not reading, not knowing how to walk. If I can do it, anybody can do it. It's about figuring out how to do it. I wanted to. These are things I share with kids all the time. I wanted to show them all the gang banging, all the crazy stuff I was doing in life. It wasn't worth it. And I always feel my mother's not here because of that. I wanted to show them you can do it if you want to. If I can do it, can't read or walk, and I know you can read or walk, it don't have nothing to do with smartness. It's all about who you hanging out with. If I hang out with 5 gangbangers, I become the 6th. If I be hanging around 6 guys as businessmen, I become the 6th business guy. It's all about who you're hanging out with. So I built my house to where it's 9 bedrooms and a little bit more. So I can make sure that I always have my friend and family, if they don't need a place to stay, my house is there for them. I fix each room up where they'll be real comfortable in it, where they got a couch, bed, TV, and all these different things in each room. So if they had brought a friend over to the house that I'm not comfortable with or whatever, I ain't got to see them. But everything I did was for family and friends. And I'm definitely not trying to make nobody feel sorry for me. I'm definitely not trying to do that. I want people to look at me as a proud man, because I did things hoping that my people would look at it and said, damn, he came from gangbanging, changed his life. But sometimes he had to turn around and betray another thing. Sometimes because you got other people want to betray like they some hard person. Wants to see you change your life. I had one of my best friends said I snitched on him. And the guy that put him on his show, I remember he came to me a long time ago and asked me would I help him do some book stuff. But the way he was talking, I drove way over there where he was by myself. Got him in the car, went off on him my attitude is like, left my pistol at home. I forgot it. But I went over there. He was sitting on the porch, got him in the car. I was pretty good in fighting in the car. You're going to lose. And went there with him on it. He said, man, I just wanted to show you some music and a book that I'm trying to get. He not knowing I'm on my way out of the business, but I meant to help him. But at the end, I got distracted with a bunch of other people I'm doing business with. Somehow he blew up on YouTube. And he put one of my best friends on there when we was little kids. We didn't hang out because I tried to change his life. I tried to bring him into the celebrity world, hang with celebrity stuff, but he still wanted to hang out in the streets and do his thing in the streets and, and get high. Didn't want to listen. He always thought he was smarter than me because of the fact that he went to Catholic school and can read good and all that stuff. But I loved the dude to death. I always looked out for him, helped him get a Cadillac. That's what he wanted. I always gave him a little money when he came by. Wanted to bring him in the music business. Put him with some celebrities, hoping that he can hang with them, they'll like him, and he'll wind up doing the same thing I'm doing since he didn't want to hang with me to learn from me. So I try to put him there. Everywhere you go, brought him on Senior Hall show, put him in a lot of shit, try to change his life. Even send him out of town. He said he wanted to go out of town because he ran into some problems with some people. And every time he got into something, I'm always there for him, even though that I changed my life. I remember he got jumped on. Another guy called me and said, man, they finna kill this dude. And so I got on the phone with the dude that was running the guy. We talked. He told me the reason what happened and all this stuff. Man, he said it wasn't a bunch of people, it was just me. Same thing that happened with one of his homeboys that he started one of their gangs. The homeboy tried to get him right too, but homeboy was doing his thing in the street store at the time, who he had it out with. He came and told me that they jumped on him over there. I went over there and confronted him. I said, Mike, man, this dude owed me some money, man. Then get and start talking crazy, man. Ain't nobody got at him but me and him. Then I run into another guy, was spreading rumors that the man was a snitch when he was in the pen. So we ran up on the guy, and I talked to the guy. He told me, be careful, man, because your man be ratting on people. He was ratting in the pen. Then we go all the way back to when me and him did a little time. Well, we didn't do no time together, but we called a case together. A serious case. Me and the other guy, we got time. We wound up doing time in always closed. He got 6 months. He created the shit. But we backed him up. Next thing I know, he got 6 months. We got time way up in juvenile, up in always closed. They come to find out, after I'm almost 70 years old, that he didn't get no time for no 6 months. He got time when he got out of jail for another time for something else and did camp time. My attitude was, wow. All the way until when I got to 70. And that happened in 72. Wow. All this time, I thought that he got time with us. I was wondering why he wasn't in the courtroom with us. I thought he had a private attorney and they took him to do his case someplace else. He was in there for a minute, but then they took him out from us and wound up getting tried someplace else and got to 6 months, I guess. I don't know, whatever. But I love the dude to death. But then he turned around and said I snitched on him. Man, everybody know me. I'm a straight up soldier. It was a lot of police didn't like me and wanted to get me. Shit. I remember police told me one day, pulled me over, 2 of them. They jumped out the car. They had my cousin pick me up, put me on the hood. And they got to talking. They said, Mike, well, if there's anything you hear out there and we need to know, let us know. I told my cousin Conrad, I said, Conrad, you hear what this punk motherfucker say loud as hell, man? Motherfucker gonna tell me. They said, I'm talking loud. Them police wanted to kill my ass after I said that shit. They let me go. But somehow, whether you believe this or not, I ended up with 80 tickets. Every time I look around, the police was pulling me over, giving me a ticket for no license. I remember I went to DMV, but I kept paying them over and over. It wasn't like today. Time you get 3 tickets, you in big trouble. All you had to do was pay them off then. But I ended up winding up doing a year for suspended license. Year, 90 days, or something like that. Suspended license. Seemed like it was a year. You know? And while I was doing time there, you know, this white guy was having some problems. I didn't like the way the Mexicans was bullying him and everything. I was in the dorm, handicapped dorm. I didn't like the way they were bullying him. So I went and spoke for the dude. One day I was on the plane. And when I got out of jail, some old dude came up to me and said, hey, man, how you doing? Remember me, Mike? I said, no, man, I don't remember you. This white dude with some gold around his neck. I don't remember him. He said, man, here's my card. You know, he said, I'm one of the managers of the Rolling Stones. I said, what the hell? He said, I appreciate what you did for me when I was in the jailhouse. But I never did call him. But to go back to my friend, so he get on national TV because people tell him, man, everybody like you on there, man, you number 4, you the hottest, man, number 4, you the hottest. But he ain't getting no money. He ain't getting no money. Probably got some little scrap, but he ain't getting no money because I paid his way to get out of town, to Kansas City, to stay with his daughter. Remember his daughter called me and said, yo, he's getting in a fight with my boyfriend. And I talked to him about it. He talked to him about it and everything. And he said, Mike, I want you to come out there. You know, man, I'm going to show you, man. I'm going to show you, man. I'm going to do right, man. I want you to come out there. I said, okay, man, okay. So we talked. Then one day he called me, talking on the phone to me, asked me a lot of questions. I'm laughing and giggling, not paying attention, but I hear somebody in the background. And it looked like, I said, this dude is writing and probably taping me. So I kept talking to him. Then I found out he trying to write a book. I said, wow. But I kept talking to him because I love him. I don't think he's going to do nothing wrong to me. You know? But the questions he was asking. You know? So later on, when he get on this show, he said, I snitched on him, man. I was sick. I was in the bed. 4 of my best friends just died on me on COVID. I got COVID. I'm sick. I look like I'm about 90 years old because, you know, when I used the bowel, I had a bowel movement. And I wasn't getting clean that well. And the bowels got into my system and was cutting everything off on me. And I was sitting there dying. So when I went to the hospital, COVID didn't do that to me because of the fact that the pressure sore that I have, me getting in the bathtub all the time, hot water, not knowing it's hot, so I burn myself more too. So they put a vacuum in me to try to vacuum all the stuff out, which it did. And while I was laying in that bed, I gave my sister some pictures. She put it in Facebook. And while I was sitting there dying, that's when I'm watching TV though too. And then I hear this dude get up on the YouTube saying that I snitched on him. And I was messed up. And I'm sitting there for 3 days, down there dying, with the last little strength I got. Said, he finna take me there. The last little strength, I said, man, I'm finna get some money. And I'm finna fly out to Kansas City and do what I gotta do to somebody I really love. For him to say what he said about me, I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting up 3 days on my cell phone, speaking in the cell phone. You finna understand me, you and that nigga. Finna give you a better understanding about who I am. You don't see me. Then another person I love gave him the papers. And the papers that said where he told me I snitched on him. He know that we had the friend that I did time for when I was a little kid, me and my friend that went to jail, and him went to jail, the three of us. And he wound up faking like he got camp time. But me and the other one got to doing the time together. And so we both got, me and the other guy, we finally got doing our little juvenile time, our YA time. But soon after a year, I think it was, maybe a little longer, he got out for another, got involved with another murder. You know, on some white guys. Because he was doing some transaction and the white guys tried to take the money from him, from my understanding. Just from my understanding. Take the money from him. He shot one in the hand and killed the other one. So I'm quite sure he would have beat that on a self-defense, but because of the fact that he was just getting out of jail on another murder, they made the murder that, the first murder we went on time for, made it look like he's like a killer. So it could justify him where he can get the death penalty. That it wasn't no accident. He did it like he was robbing somebody. So they found him guilty on that charge and gave him the death penalty. So time went by, I'm talking to him, and he asked me would I come to court for him, because he was going on appeal. So I went to court. I done did my time and he did his time. And he asked, can Pookie come to court? He asked, can the other guy come to court that was involved with us? And so both of us said, yeah, we come to court, because Pookie, the guy was a little scared. You know, and I said, what you scared about, man? He said, we did time. So they can't convict you on nothing. You know? He said, me and him did the time. You know, I'm going to tell what I did. You know? So I can get him off. I got convicted for it. You know? You got convicted. He got convicted. He said, okay, okay. So the day we were supposed to go to court to tell what we did, so I told what I did. I mean, before we went to court, he called me, said, Mike, I ain't coming to court. Something wrong with my auntie. So I said, okay. He said, man, you just go and tell what we both did. I said, okay. I go to court, and I told him that what I did, so I can get him free. So he got convicted for nothing when we was little. And so I just told about what I did and what the other guy did. They couldn't do nothing to both of us. None of us. We all got convicted. But the other guy didn't show up. For some odd reason he didn't. He said it was his auntie. She was having problems. So I said, wow. So then the man bring that up. I guess that's what he was talking about, snitch. Talking about I put a contract on him. Man, I don't put contracts on nobody. I go, if I got a problem, I handle it myself, and I'm known for that. People know that. But I changed my life. I wanted to see people do better. But I was so ripped apart when he said that, and I stood up 3 days, ready to go after him. Throw everything away. Send this to NTV. Send this to YouTube. By the time they hear my story, that why I went out there to do it. You know, and apologize that I went backwards like this. But the reason I was so angry at him because he put my brother and sister's name on there. Tripped him out. Had him say negative stuff. When my brother was in the Navy, he ain't saw this dude since we were little kids. You know, my sister, she thought they were still close and cool, and manipulated them even saying negative stuff about me. That's what I was pissed off about. That's when I said this dude done really lost his mind, and I was ready to attack. Loving my friend to death. Didn't want to go there. But I was ripped apart. But then, 3 days after that, I'm setting myself up. I'm weak. Weak as hell. Barely can move, but I'm going to have my strength to get on that plane. 3 days after that, they said he died. Then I felt, God said, you one of my soldiers, Mike. This is what I felt God said. You one of my soldiers. You ought to know why you didn't die many years ago. All the corrupt stuff you was doing when you was a youngster. And crazy stuff a little after that. You're one of my soldiers. This is why I took your mother and brought your mother and your sister up here with me. Hoping you'll learn a lesson. He said, I need you here. I'm going to take care of this one. And my friend died. Then I heard he died of cancer of the brain. I was real relieved because I talked to his son and his daughter. They said he was talking crazy. Then I talked to his girlfriend, his wife, ex-wife. That's whose house he got jumped on. Over her house, pulling her arm and going crazy. I used to mess with her. But while I was doing time when I was a little kid, somehow he ended up with her. But I felt if that's who she wanted to be with, that's who she wanted to be with. But I said, wow, it's a God. I couldn't believe that. I was hurt that he died, even though that I was thinking crazy about him. about how my mind was, me finna fly up there. But it still hurt me. And I was so relieved when I found out it was cancer in the brain. I was so relieved. Because I said that's what made him trip like he tripped. And when his kids told me the things they told me, and his niece told me what she told me. And so I looked on YouTube TV and they was talking about it. And so they asked for a GoFund. And I saw that he had only $500. But the host built him up like he the man on his channel, just to keep him up so he can get money. Like he always did with a lot of OGs. Put a lot of OGs on there that was old, him and his partner, to build his channel up. But I don't believe none of them was getting no money. Bunch of good dudes. Not understanding. But always talking about old stuff like he's trying to do something right. But he never had none of them come on the show. Practically a lot of them that wanted to come on the show to talk about how they made the mistakes. I hear a few of them say that. But they all should have said that, like myself too. So they're building this guy credibility up. Like a light-skinned guy, like they always do. House nigga. And at the same time, the FBI is most likely watching every nigga that's come on that show. To one guy from the East Coast. He know damn well he should not have, behind pushing this guy to build his respect up. And I'm quite sure the guy did just like what I would do to a certain extent. Talk about himself and talk about the things he did. And the reason he probably was talking because he probably felt guilty about some of the things he did. It's obvious. Like a lot of other people do when they get on them shows. But he twisted them and turned around and talking in another way. To when they start talking and talking and talking, when we all do that. When we start talking. Sometimes we talk about things we should not talk about, just like right now. And he knew what he was doing when he had those people on the show. Just like he had my friend on the show. It's obvious he probably knew that he was sick too. It's obvious he probably told him that he ain't got that long to live too. And put them on the show. As he put my man Cutes on the phone. Cutes, you did a lot of years. You told the board you're coming home to change your life, to better your life, to be productive. But you let this guy influence you to get on the phone and play rah, 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 rah. But man, come on, bro. Come on. You know what you went to jail for, bro. Shermed up, killing a chick. I knew all y'all. Rusty was my man. Good dude. Mouse, good dude. Good dude. But I'm shocked that you get on this dude's show and you let him manipulate you to get on there. To Tookie baby mother. Bonnie, we was cool. We was down. I come over your house, stop by once in a while, talk to you, came your daughter's thing. And for you get manipulated and get on that guy showing his partner, get to talking about me. You know? And manipulate you. And we were dog. We cool. And for you to say, yeah, me and Mike grew up together. Yeah, we grew up together. But I knew Took before you, Bonnie. You know that. But you to turn around and say, oh, he was a little badass. He was a little badass. For real, Bonnie? When the West Side started, you wasn't there. You and Tookie just ended up with a relationship. And you end up having a baby. But I remember when Jap and them went at one of your siblings. I got at Jap because of something they was mad about. And talked to him, straighten that out. So it wouldn't have a problem. Because I had real love for you. I didn't know your son that well, then trying to put him in the music business because he wanted to be a rapper. Then he, I found out from his father that what I want, this and that. Like I'm a groupie for his father. You know and I know before he went to jail that him and my sister was together. You know? But me and Took, you know, when he came around, I in the streets hustling after I got away. Not doing no more gang banging. That's why he put in the book that Mike was a hustler. Still is, in one way, but in a good way, not a bad way. But I was talking to Took the whole time. I really respected what he said. I was mad when he put that hustler stuff and I confronted him about it. He told me, what? You know me and him was talking the whole time. And I talked to him, trying to help him out. Went to Russell Simmons and talked to go to Arnold Schwarzenegger to try to help him get off the death penalty. But I'm not going to go into that situation. But I ended up loving the shit out this dude. But at first it wasn't there. Because him and my partner, the one that I snitched on, had beef with each other. So I'm down with him when I get out of YA. So they know if they cross the line with my partner, they know what kind of guy I was at that particular time. You did too. Remember you said he was crazy, badass. You know what time it was with me. So at the end of the rainbow, we goes up there. My partner put fight Tookie. And my other partner, Gay, pulled to fight Blackie. And I'm finna get down with Monkey Man. So as I'm finna get down with Monkey Man, you know, and I'm gonna stand over there with my folks, somehow he was able to creep on me when I take my knit off, taking my brother's knit off there. I left home with my brother's knit. And man, I didn't want no problem about my brother. They were golden glove boxers and black belts. I don't want my brother to know I snuck off with his knit. There's going to be some blood on this knit. I got to turn around and take that knit back home and put plastic on it to make sure he don't see that somebody wore it. So I'm taking that, and soon I put it over my head. Next thing I know, I'm riding in the back seat of a Brougham, my car. Cold thing about it, you know, I'm listening to a song when I wake up. Do 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 do. I said, wow, what's something to wake up from getting knocked out? I never thought I could get knocked out, 'cause I love to fight. But it probably would have been a problem if I wouldn't have got stole on with the knit on my head. But I ended up going over to the dude's house, mother's house, later on that night. He wasn't there. Then we went over to Sanuja Park. Sort of surrounded the park. Took and them was there. We asked where Monkey Man was. He wasn't there. So that still left a bad taste. I can understand Tookie and them not turning around going crazy because there's a whole bunch of people with me. And I know them and they know me. Then later down the line, when I found out my sister, later down the line, years after, and my sister with Took, it was like, what the hell? I'm pissed. You know, pissed like hell. Mad at my sister. Because I supposed to protect her. Took comes over to the house. Nicest guy you ever want to be. Calling my mama, mama. I remember my mama grabbed him by his shoulders one day. My mama was shocked. He said, okay, mama. I laughed about it behind the scenes. Because he's a big old nigga. And a little old lady grabbed him by his shirt. But he loved my mother, as he said in that book. She was like gold. You know? And I ended up loving the shit out of him. Because he respected my family. Then go to a concert. And it's crowded. I'm way up on the steps with my wheelchair. And he gets Jamel. And him and Jamel pick me up. There's a lot of stairs at the arena. And take me all the way down them stairs. I couldn't believe him and Jamel did that. That was crazy. I thought I was Caesar or Ulysses. The way they holded me up. Then the fight jumped off at the arena. He dived over me, covered me, started getting in the fight, chopping people down. He dived over and covered me to make sure I was safe. He was a good dude. Good dude. He can draw his ass off and he can turn around. Had a brilliant mind on him like a lawyer. But like I said earlier, when you hang around certain people, no matter who you are, even if it's a preacher, he come around 6 gangbangers, you're going to be one. But I know all he wanted was an opportunity. And at the end, him and my sister was breaking up. I'm hearing about him getting high. I'm hearing that he pushing a car one day with one hand. Nobody in the steering wheel. You know, pushing it, I guess to put it to the side or something. And that's when things changed for him. He was a good dude. You know, We all made mistakes. And I think that's one of the reasons that he wanted to go. Because I talked to somebody, they said if he admit to the murders, they'd give him life. And I told him that. And I wanted to say, man, well, you might well say you did it so you can get to life, not die. Then you can go back after you get to life and tell why you said that. Because you wanted to come out here and still talk to kids. You know, if you died, you wouldn't be here to talk to kids. But you can turn around and people understand that. I truly believe that. Why you said you did it. Because it wasn't going to do you no good dying. I couldn't tell him that over the phone. But I said, Arnold Schwarzenegger said this to Russell. Russell came back and told me. But Took told me he was tired. He was tired. And I think that not just he was tired, I think he was thinking about the things he'd been through like I do. How we all hurt some people when we was young. I was involved with a murder. Did time for it. I think about that guy all the time, and I felt that's why it came back on me with my sister. That guy'd never be here again. I was 15, he was 16. He got killed with his own gun. But it don't make a difference. He didn't kill himself. And I think about all those different things that I did. Even to where in the West Side became Crips. Crips was already here, Compton, East Side. But they wasn't that active as they was when the West Side got involved in it. Most of the West Side people, they came from the projects too, in other states. But somehow our mother was able to get us out of the projects. So we, most likely, we didn't want to look like we square dudes, so we were more active than the people from the East Side. Not saying the people from the East Side wasn't active. They were serious just like we were, and even more serious. But by us being on the West Side and dominated white neighborhoods and all those places, because you couldn't go past Western at one time. A lot of those blacks made it past Western, so that means we was blending in with white people all over. From Gardena all the way to Florence, to Adams, Crenshaw, South Central, all the way down. Dominated white people. We got in all those neighborhoods, so we didn't want to make it look like we were trying to be white. So that means we got still more influence through the streets more than anything because we coming from the East Side, all of us, a lot of us. So we don't want to look like we changed to our people. But I remember Raymond coming over to the theater. We had a gang called the Smacks. Tookie and them was from Al Capone's. The one who they respected over there was Sweetback, Donald Archie. I respected him too, to the fullest. You know? And so when Raymond came over there, he came over there about 4 guys. He didn't know it was probably about 75 of us in the theater. I think he had the feeling. But we finna tear his head off. Him and the guys was with him. We didn't know this guy. Over there talking about Crips. But I was the young one. My brother and them had reputations for being boxers and black belts. So the name was going. Once you hear the name, it's hard to forget it. So I was a youngster, about 14, 15 years old, and walked up to Raymond and told Raymond, we need to get together. We need to go after KKKs, not go after each other. So yeah, so we all met up. Then we went over to Hawthorne and Gardena and just started, anybody look like they was KKK, jumping on it, running out of the neighborhood real quick before the police got there. Then we started going to record hops. And that same old friend that when we went to jail for murder when we were little, saw a yellow nigga, curly hair and green eyes, light skinned. Said he looked like he mixed with white. That was our first thing when us jumping on black. Started there. Then we started going after a lot of yellow people. If you look at a lot of the gangs that started in the 70s, you find most of them that was calling shots from the opposite side were light-skinned guys. But then a lot of filtered, and it's filtered because we kept going around jumping on people to end up being a lot of dark-skinned guys. This is not what I want to see, but I don't care who you are, you can get manipulated. Now I'm wondering the guy that's turned around and try to say that I snitched on him. From what the guy PP said, was he always a rat and working for someone? Because everywhere he went, he started different ones. I love this dude to death. He's not here to defend himself. But if he was, we'd be talking. If he didn't say what he said about me, we'd probably be going into another direction. But I loved him, but I gotta speak real. You find so many people speak on a lot of different things. Guys in different neighborhoods, different sets. But let's keep it real. A lot of you guys wasn't going to all these different sets. Y'all was just going to the set where y'all belong at. And to certain people that y'all having it out close to y'all set. And maybe we might go to a party or many other places. But I know it's quite a few other people that went where they want to go. But I went to every neighborhood I wanted to go to. Because I was always loved the women. And I was cool with Pyru because when Pyru just got started, 2 of them came to LP. So one of the guys that was in there for murder came to me and said, man, they talking about trying to do something to him. Me and him was cool. His partner was in the hole. But me and him was cool. That wasn't going to happen on my watch. Even though I was out doing a lot of wrong, but I wasn't looking for bloods and cuds. I just was whoever I had a problem with at that time. That's where I went. Then from the opposite of the family, The guy that ran the family was my best friend in junior high school. But I went to youth authority. He became a family. Started it, one of the guys. I was over the house. They drove up on me in Pintos, about 10 of them, looking for this guy. I happened to be there. Guy got a 22 in the house, but one bullet. I said, give me that. Maybe I'm going to get lucky. Because I was nervous as hell, man. They driving up, man. I don't know if they had guns or what, but I said, I'm going to get something. I was nervous as hell. Until my friend popped out that car, my old friend. And he said, man, they trying to get this dude that was there with us because he keep talking shit. I said, man, I'm going to make sure that's straight, man. He said, yeah, all right, Mike. We talked, and he left. So all these guys saw that me and him was cool with each other. They didn't know we was best friends when we was in junior high school. So I was cool there. So when it came to bounty hunters, my family had real respect over there in the projects. So I'm the only Crip going over there every day, having fun, skating, enjoying myself. Shit, they didn't look at me as no Crip. They look at me as family. But I wouldn't worry about none of it no way. Because I wasn't doing nothing to go over there to create no problem no way. I'm going different places to find me a girl. So that made it open for me to where I was going to every neighborhood. So if I'm going to every neighborhood, I'm knowing what's going on everywhere. So when you hear a lot of these guys, yeah, a lot of them probably went places, but not like I did. Actually, that's why I got shot. Put in a wheelchair. I was a gambler. Getting ready to go see my girl. She wasn't ready, so we can go to the club. So I went and rode around for a minute to start, saw some guys gambling, got out the car, didn't even know the guys, right across the street from Martin Luther King. Guy knew me, and I was good in shooting dice. I was kind of really a cheater, and I kind of was a cheater. I knew how to slide the dice. But this time I wasn't sliding the dice. But I guess the guy knew I was knew how to do the stuff. He asked me for his money back, $36. Man, I don't want to hear that shit. Pointed his gun at me. Pow, first bullet knocked me to the ground. I'm on the ground laying there. Shot another time. Could have emptied it on my head. It's close range. After he ran off, I'm sitting there, not so tough. Sitting up there, somebody help, somebody help. Wasn't so tough then. Slid me to the hospital. All I can remember saying is, my hair okay. My phone number such and such and such and such. My hair okay. My phone number such and such. Then I just went into a deep sleep. And while I was in that sleep, scared the hell out of me. I guess I was in hell because I was scared to death. I was in a coma. And as I came out the coma, it looked like I was speeding like a jet out of that coma. First thing I saw was my friend Johnny Ray right up on my face. Talking about, Mike, get up. You can make it, Mike. Get up. You can make it. I always told people his breath woke me up because that's the first thing I smelled was his breath. But he was a good dude. When I got in a wheelchair, everybody abandoned me. Nobody was around, none of my friends. And I understand they had things they had to do. They didn't want to see me in this wheelchair. See me one minute walking around like I was, sharp and tough and all that stuff. And now they see me in a wheelchair. And they, you know, so Johnny Ray had an old T-Bird. Whoa, man, man, the T-Bird was the regular T-Bird in the world, but he loved it. He loved it, and I loved it too because it was taking us everywhere. I got back to gambling, but I stayed in the projects at the time. So I was always gambling over there. I stayed, you know, and he kept taking me everywhere to gamble. We kept gambling. He was a straight-up soldier. And I bought me a Cadillac. And that's when life started changing for me. So even though I didn't want to do the things I did while I was in this wheelchair, I felt since I couldn't read or walk, that's the only way I could survive and live. I wanted to prove something to myself that I won't be a handicapped person, crippled person. But although I did the things I did, man, once I got the opportunity and the chance, I stopped slinging drugs because I said, man, how's I'm going to sling drugs to somebody else? And I'm going to go crazy if somebody slings something to my family. And I'm telling people, if I find out you're giving my brother, my sister drugs, I'm going to shut it down. And I started saying to myself again, how can I turn around and tell somebody else not to do this? And I'm doing it, and other things I was doing. And I didn't like it no way because I always wanted to be an activist. I let it go. I probably could have been one of the biggest dope dealers around because nobody wouldn't mess with me. They know I wasn't the type of person you want to play with. You got to take me out. Especially I'm in a wheelchair, so now I'm really a little different, even more angrier. But it was always on my mind. I never wanted to hurt my people. And when I got out the opportunity, Bobby Brown, Rouse Chedron was having some problems. A dope dealer dude told me I was a groupie. And I helped him with the situation. Then you find many other people. Ice Cube, Dre, 50 Cent. They know. I helped 50 Cent out through his manager, Chris Lighty. Puffy, Suge, when Main Street surrounded him. They was finna tear his head off. I know he was happy I pulled him out of there. To many people. To major drug dealers, you know, I didn't, even though I quit the stuff because I didn't like what I was doing. But I realized that I'm helping the drug dealers keep niggas off their ass. Big name people. You hear about it all the time. One of them gave me a Mag 10. You know? And I didn't want to do that once I found that I'm still doing the same thing, even if I'm stopping people from messing with them. So once I got that opportunity with Bobby Brown and Rap, they really saved my life. I'm thinking I'm saving their life, but by me hanging with them and getting them where they straight, they saved my life. Then I started dealing with a bunch of people, and people turned around and said, I remember somebody said, you know, I confronted Hammer, and Hammer kind of talked crazy to me. Man, Hammer didn't talk crazy to me. Me and Hammer became cool. I went to Hammer's house, nice house, fly as hell. I produced Pumps to the Bump on Hammer. And another song. And a girl, and one of the girls did something on this girl group. I got $100,000 for Hammer. So when the guys sit there on TV just to get him some notification, I don't know why he did that. Now I called Hammer's brother Lewis. He said, man, this guy, woo woo, you know what I mean? And the guy that was did, and once I talked to Lewis and found out who the guy was, I said, this dude was a nice singer, man. He put some oil on his face and made himself look like he a hardcore gangster. For real, this is unreal. But I started to go there. But I started thinking about my mama. She said, Mike, you're going to have all kind of people saying things. Then I heard some guy said that, man, the guy swung on me and knocked me out of my wheelchair in the Pablos. Yeah, that did happen. It's a blood neighborhood, but I've been going over there every day anyway. Nobody messed with me. They knew who I was. But damn, I'm in a goddamn wheelchair. What you want to brag about something like that for? I'm in a wheelchair and he's standing up. If we're in the car, that's not going to happen. Now I got to take it to another level. So once I got put in the wheelchair, back in the wheelchair, from him, but I still was pissed. Went back over there the next day, strapped, ready to have some business. Not really, because my mama was on my mind at the time too. And I didn't never want to go there with another brother, but I said, ain't gonna get pushed out the chair this again. The hell you thinking about when you go tell people got pushed out the wheelchair, man? I'm in a wheelchair. Jesus Christ. But I done swung on some people in a wheelchair. But I didn't know that this dude was going to do what he did. But he apologized. They didn't say that part. They didn't say the part that he helped me get back in the wheelchair. They just say all the funny part. Then you get a guy on TV, puts the girl Silky on there. Then they put another guy on there from Grape Street. I liked the guy from Grape Street, still do. We met several times. He was always smooth and cool. I liked his respect because he was trying to be a Muslim. But the guy trying to manipulate him to turn around and say, well, Mike there, we there. When this guy started gang banging, man, I'm out the game. But you ain't never out because you're going to always be affiliated where you come from, especially when you're one of the guys that's created it. I'm not saying that I created it. People try to twist things up. Raymond created it. But all of us created it. Raymond gave the name. He was a good dude. He was solid. And you'd think that he started Crips. You'd think that he'd go around starting up trouble. Raymond was about peace. He was solid. I was hurt when he got killed. I went to his funeral. And he got killed behind political stuff. Jealousy. I wish I would have been there. The guy that had some involvement in his death is dead now. 2 of them. The main ones. They both were good dudes. But the streets will make you think crazy. I love the shit out of Raymond. And he loved me too. You know it, Cutes. You spoke on it before. The same thing with Tookie. We loved each other. Tookie didn't take pictures with people. He would have slapped the shit out of somebody trying to take a picture with him. But we got pictures. He was like my family. I never knew the person that I thought I knew. The one that I thought got convicted with me. I never knew him. But they say all kind of things happen when you're young, you know. I know they turn around and raise people to be in FBI, CIA. It don't make a difference how old they was. But I wonder who really was the snitch. Not to call my friend a snitch, because he's not here to defend himself. And matter of fact, I loved him so much till when he got the 500 GoFund, and the one that put him on his show, I was shocked for him to just have a $500 GoFund. I loved him. He wanted to be a king. I gave his kids $24,000. I kept the check. Not the check. I'm talking about the copy of the check. Still got it today. Why did I keep it? Because I wanted to make sure more rumors didn't come out on me. You know, about he didn't do this, he didn't do that, and this and that. I did that from my heart. I didn't have to do it. Nobody forced me to do it. I didn't need no publicity. I'm already known and respected. I did it because I loved him. Not for him to be burned, but him to be in a vote next to my other friends. But as I speak on a lot of people, I'm not speaking on them people to be mad at each other, hurt each other. I'm just telling the stories. I still love you, Silk. Your friend that turned around and said that, that, you should have went to the lawyer and sue me. I love you too. You remember the hug at my house? And us talking to your mother together? It's so easy to forget. Money will do those things to you. Everybody know I'm a giving person. Everybody know. People can ask me. People I don't know. I give when I can. I'm not rich. You might see the house there. But the house was made that way over 26 years. Add the money up for 26 years. $2 million. But when I eat, and we got 5, 10, 20 people at the table, and I got the money, and I know they might not have it, we all gonna eat good. If they want steaks, or they want fish, if I got it, eat well. If my friends need a place to stay, our family. I remember one of my friends was on the crack real hard after he left me. And somebody called me and said, Mike, you need to get him. I went over there to where he was, picked him up, made him get in the car. He got in the back seat because he was I never saw nobody smell like that. So he got in the back seat of the car and we driving to my house. He talking to himself in the back. I said, man, shut up, man. Cut all that old noise up, man. Because he was having me tripping, him talking to himself. Took him to my house. Gave him some clothes, washed out, cleaned them all the way up, and cleaned them good and everything. Straightened them out. Went to Dominican, wanted to take him with me, but he didn't have a passport. He left the house. I'm mad. Mad as hell at him. So I don't have nothing else to do with him. Some months later, he died of an overdose. I was so hurt. But Silk and many other people, I'm not trying to go there, be hard, but I'm still human. Any of y'all had to say something to me, you know me. Come talk to me about it. Don't try to scream, because you know me. Male or female, you know me. I'm not trying to be no street hard person or none of that. But I do want to be respected. Come talk to me if you got grief with me. You too, Kel Mac. And your homeboy that's with you to be working with you. And the other guy that got the other show, I thought you was my friend, man. The one that put Silky on the show and you playing like you ain't putting it on there, you having somebody else talk to her. That day when we had that thing, Steve Harvey and all us, the peace thing, and then you shouting out, everybody's tough on there, woo-woo on the thing, and I looked at you, pointing at you, trying to keep me cool because it's about peace. But when we got off the stage, you were gone. That was the same day they surrounded Suge, Main Street. You know, it's about a peace thing. But I want to ask you and say, man, you knew I was up on that stage too. But then I see you at the liquor store with your good hair. Nice, good hair. And I see how you be going around with different people and playing like you talking about peace and gang and stuff. Now I see you with a cigar in your mouth on one of these shows. You know? But then when I saw you at that liquor store, remember? And I got you in the car. And I asked you, man, what's all that shit you talking about, nigga? The fuck you talking to, nigga? And you started crying like a baby. Ooh, I love you, man. I love you, man. Man, why you doing this to me? Man, I love you. And you made me cry. You made me cry. You was crying so hard. Malik said, I love you, man. Why you doing this? You had me crying, brother. You cried so hard, brother. And I felt bad in the hell, man. And took you to your house and dropped you off. And I felt we was cool after that. You called me one day. Somehow you met a chick that I met in Atlanta. And I guess y'all got together and staying with her. And you called me. I said, man, I had to get out of there, man. Niggas was tripping, man. You know, they were tripping. I guess they realized who you really was. You was a fake. Getting all these dudes together, talking to these guys. But they know you ain't did nothing. But you're going to get Silk on there. Knowing she's not doing that well. Knowing she got personal problems. Mental problems. And you get her on there and let her say what she said and to talk about my friend that's dead now. Died. Who she was in love with. Who she brought over to the place. Who he brought over to the house. And talk to me about helping them. Saying, Mike, you gonna help me? Man, you know, man, please help me get her a deal. I did not want to do it at that time because of Keita Rock. Because Keita Rock was my nigga, man. He was a straight up soldier and a real one. And I knew that he was going to turn around and be angry and mad because he looked at us as friends. But he didn't understand that you came over there with my other friend that I grew up from elementary school together. That I was going to get his life together. Through you. And it always bothered me because Keita Rock was right. We were friends. But we talked. We talked it over. We ran into each other at Hollywood. And it's obvious we still had love for you. We didn't go there because I know you went behind my back when things didn't go right and tried to create a problem between me and him. But he's a soldier and I'm a soldier. We understood each other. And the last time I heard from him, I heard he got the time. And I ran into his friends downtown. They talked to me. Said, Keita Rock, yeah, man, give Keita Rock my number, man. Give Keita Rock my number because I wanted to help him. Then I had a loose-ass nigga with me that had plans. I didn't know. And he gave them the wrong number because I'm wondering why they ain't call me. Why they didn't call me? But I figured once this nigga left my house, that nigga gave them the wrong number. Maybe he was jealous that me and those guys would have probably came cool. Just like I bought him a Porsche truck because he was doing bad, not doing too cool. Because he lost his son. So he didn't have nowhere to go at that particular time. So I opened up the door for him because I knew him when we was young. And I always loved the dude, still do. Funny dude. Funny dude. But he had 3 other kids. So I got them together, bought them clothes, you know, made them look good. He broadcasting in the internet. And I told him, don't do that because people going to think that having money. And he did it. But at the same time, he had 2 or 3 other kids. And I was going to help him get a place in Atlanta so he can bring his kids out there and her where they can move a different life. But while I was down and out and sick, I come home thinking he gonna have some chicken and stuff like that ready for us. He left at a time that I needed some people around me. I appreciate him because he was helping me clean myself up because I was dying. Couldn't move nothing. I could move my hands a little bit. But I was messed up. So he was helping clean me. But I'm not mad at him. I wish he just would have told me he wanted to go. Because I wanted him to go take care of his family anyway. He didn't have to do it like that. But I understood. He probably felt I'd probably say something. I still love the nigga. That's my dog. But Silky, and you and the other girl, I'm really shocked. and everybody know me. If we have a problem, it's about us dealing with it. I want to always go the peaceful way. I know who I am. When my friend said that I'm a lot of talk, people need to do their history and really do their history on me. Because if I was a lot of talk, me being in a wheelchair, I probably wouldn't have the house and the roads and many other stuff I got. Even though I had guys with me. But 90% of the time, when I was goofy, wasn't thinking right, stupid, before my mother died, I didn't have a problem. Most of my friends had the problem. I was the one that did the homework. And 90% of the time, even if it was my friend's problem, I wrote by myself. That's nothing to brag about. Because a lot of people could have got hurt. But God was with me. I'm glad he made me real crooked. But when it came to shooting, I had to be one of the most crookedest dudes in the world. Thank God I was crooked. Thank God I was crooked. Some people I wasn't crooked on. But those people that I wasn't crooked on, somehow I talked to most of them. And they was going for toughness, and I was too. Somehow we talked it over. And every one of those people that I wasn't crooked on, when it came to, let's be real about it, shooting, we worked it out. We laughed. And anytime I see any of them, we still worked it out. Because they know we both was on some dumb shit. Some real dumb shit. But I made it through. That's why I know it's a God. Because I didn't expect to live past 21. I got shot, put in a wheelchair about 22, 23. It was the best thing that could ever happen to me. Because it taught me about life. You know. But even after then, I was even worser. But when it came to women, I wasn't like my friends. And any woman said I was sexually, we can go and get on one of those lie detector tests. I couldn't do that no way because I couldn't please myself the way I wanted to. I'm not embarrassed to say this is real shit. But I wanted to keep it real. So that all the adventures I went through, so every little kid out there can hear the stories. Because the story was not a good story. It was not great. You can be great by turning around and turning your life around. If you're going to be out there shooting at somebody, you're going to jail or you're going to die. But you can go out there and ask that guy down the street, can you work for him free building on that house? You'll learn plumbing, drywall, electric, framing. Now you're on your way to opening up your own business. You could turn around and look at YouTube, find out how you build a phone. And you could turn around and make a better phone than the phone they got and wind up being successful. The baddest gangster I ever saw, the baddest gangster, was Michael Jackson. Why I said Michael Jackson was the baddest gangster? You can take him and Al Capone or anybody else that was considered a gangster to their neighborhood, their own neighborhood, and you'll find millions of people come out there to see Michael Jackson and just a few to see the gangster. And Michael Jackson might whisper, said, man, I don't like Al Capone. You probably see the whole country want to get Al Capone out of there. Al Capone might say, I don't like Michael Jackson. You probably see a few of them want to get Michael Jackson. And if they get busted, most likely, he had a lot of fans. That's a real gangster. So that means that if you could be a gangster legitimately, where you don't have to pick up a weapon. But if you're going to be that kind of gangster, you don't turn around and do like a Suge Knight did. Not to disrespect him because we was cool. But I told him one day when he came to my house, you got money, man. Move to Malibu. If you want to know what's going on in the streets, have your 2 lieutenants just to tell you. That was a backwards gangster. Even though I know the guy and we was cool with each other. I got to keep it real. You can be a gangster legitimately and be very wealthy and even tell the president what you want to do in his town or any other country. President. That's a hell of a gangster and a legitimate gangster. I always looked at myself like Paul the disciple. That God wanted me to go through all these things, to get put in a wheelchair, to die, to almost die again, to where that I got so sick and I took pictures. So when I show people, say how I looked at and how I am now. I know I'm looking kind of bad now on the phone. That's why I got to tilt like I got to tilt, because I am not looking my best in the morning. Most people don't. I look a little raggedy. But I wanted to tell these stories. I like being Paul the disciple. I'm glad I had to go through the things I went through, the dumbest shit, the worstest shit that put me in a wheelchair. But like I said, it's the best thing that could ever happen, me getting put in a wheelchair. Because it helped me out, made me be able to see. Even though I was still doing messed up shit once I got in a wheelchair, but once it took my mother out, it made me see any better. And I remember when I laid in the bed and I was dying, people coming over to me, talking to me, family and stuff. Few people, I didn't want to see nobody. But I wish somebody could have came in that room and said to me, can I talk to Mike alone? Will you talk to Mike alone? And they said, yeah, he must gonna say some good, talk to Mike about standing up, getting up, be brave, don't die. But somebody came in there that was pretty pissed off at me and said, Mike, I want to fuck you up, man. I want to whoop your motherfucking ass, you punk motherfucker. That there would have gave me the strength to get out of the bed. Because as I laid in that bed and I saw a lot of fake tears, but I still appreciated them coming to see me. And I didn't want nobody to cry for me, no way. I lived a good life. And a terrible life, too. One I wasn't proud of. But as I laid in that bed one day, I said to myself something I never, ever, ever would have thought I said. Something that Tookie said. I'm tired. I'm tired. I would have never, ever thought I'd say something like that out of my mouth. And some came down. It was my mother's spirit. She said, get your ass up. I didn't raise no punks. And I was shocked. My mama told like that. I said, God must have gave her a break so she can come and tell me that in those words. And I wouldn't expect to hear that from my mother. But I knew my mother was mad. And I didn't want her to be mad. Then I asked God, what should I do? I said, I can't eat nothing. I don't feel like eating nothing. The cobra was gone. I said, I can't eat nothing. Seemed like he told me, figure it out yourself. And I started thinking about Peter. When Peter couldn't find no fish. And he'd been fishing all day. And Jesus told him, put your line on the other side. So I thought about that. And something came to my mind. I can do a commercial on this part, what I'm going to say. And I said, I used to eat some cheese puffs. Loved the cheese puff. Had a good taste. So I asked my man to go get me a bag of, Gerald to go get me a bag of cheese puffs. Everybody else was feeding me stuff. I kept spitting it out, playing like, oh man, that food was good. Oh, it was good as hell, man. But I was spitting it out, giving it to, Walt and them. And so when I ate those cheese puffs, the next day I asked for some fish, some chicken, and I ate it all. So I thought about what I asked Jesus and what my mother said. And I felt Jesus was saying, if you gonna punk out, you can't come here to be with your mother. She just told you she didn't raise no punks. So if you gonna come here, you gotta be a soldier. Because I can't have no lying, bullshitting people or gaming people up here. I got to have soldiers up here. Because one day when I come down there, as God prevailed, this was going through my mind. I got to have real soldiers to come down there to straighten a lot of stuff out when he do come. So if I went on with that weak shit, then most likely I wasn't going to see my mother again and get that hug. So I ate those cheese puffs, and the next day I was eating. Then I asked my friend to take some pictures of me, and saw the pictures. Then I saw the same friend, Gerald. I'm in his face hollering, I'm in pain. And I looked him in the face, and I saw in his face, I came to this dude for help. Now this dude in my arms lifted me up, put me in the car like a little baby. And I felt he lost respect for me. But he was helping me. That's just only what I felt. That's not what I think. That's not what he probably felt. But I felt this. That same day when I saw that, I never said, oh, again to him. Even though I was still going through some pain. But the mental helped me out. And I took pictures, and I started straightening myself out and started doing a lot more exercise. But like I said, I felt God wanted me to go through those and take those pictures so people can see how I look and how bad I look, even though I'm looking bad on this phone. But when I wake up and get dressed, I ain't looking like this. But wanted me to go through those changes so I could show those pictures. They wasn't able to see the ones when I was in a coma way back then. But I got these pictures that show I rise and I shine. I didn't give up. And to show people you should not give up either. Be a soldier. Not weak. I always talk to people about them smoking weed and drinking. And I always tell them, how can you let a cigarette, some weed, or drinking that can't talk or can't see tell you what to do? And you think you're smart, and you want me to listen to you. But you listen to something that's dangerous to you, your health. And you act like you listen to that like it's telling you what to do because you can't stop doing it. Those are the things I share with people because I know this is what God wants me to do. I'm not going to turn around and be out here performing when, just talking about God this, God that, and God this, and God that. Because everybody know what God wants them to do. But I might mention his name every once in a while. It's up to you to whether you want to do right or wrong. I'm not going to never try to force that on nobody because he don't want liars up there when they come. He want honest and straight up people. But I'm never going to try to tell nobody what to do. It might seem like it because I got that strong voice. But you able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. There's a trip when you people turn around and say, well, they told me to do this, they told me to do that. You know what you was getting into everywhere you went. You didn't have to stay there. You might not know the first day. You might not know the second day. But you think that you're smart, you know everything. The third day, you already know. Some things do happen. But a lot of things don't happen unless you let it happen. It's all about being honest with yourself. You to think all the things that I own, that I'm a money hungry person. Money don't run me. God, my mother, and people run me. I want to help whoever I can help. But I learned because of all the money I was spreading with everybody, getting them homes, getting them cars, that a lot of times when you do those things, they want you to keep giving. And at the end of the rainbow, when you stop, or when you can't, you're going to regret it. Because those same very people is going to turn their back on you. They're going to make it look like you did something wrong to them. Like the girl Silky and many other people that's been up under me. One minute she can act like she's the smartest woman in the world. She was 24 when she was around me. And smartest person in the world, and say you've been with this person. Then all of a sudden you play dumb. And you play stupid like somebody did something to you, and many other people. Many women, when you find one woman come at you and you're doing okay, if you had a woman in elementary to junior high school to high school and they not doing that great, you in trouble. Especially if you broke up with them. They not going to never forget. They going to come at you. So a lot of you rich black mans, you got to be careful. It was told a long time ago to break up the happy home. The black man and the black woman, they succeeded. They succeeded. But I think at the end, a lot of the black women's gonna come back home. It was told. They probably can't see nothing now. And I'm not racist, that's for sure. But I love my people. At the end, we're gonna come back together. And we're gonna love each other. And respect each other. I messed up. And if any woman think that I harmed or disrespect them, I apologize, because that's not what I was trying to do and didn't want to do. Sometimes you could be in the South Central area and mess up. If there's any guy that I harm, I apologize. I wasn't thinking right a lot of times. I don't care who you is, we human. But that's why I'm telling these stories I'm hoping that it'll get to a lot of people. You know, that's what my job is. That's why I'm still here at 70, will be 70 in July. God wanted this to be possible so I could share these words. And to any of the people that had a problem with me, you can come talk to me about it. I don't need no army, I just pray me. You know, we all make mistakes. I just want to see people happy and have fun. That's why I never did no gangster rap. It was always good. That's why I'm so happy when I produced the song Stump with Gerald. You know, a gospel song. Because God didn't just want only the people that's going to church to know about God. He led us to do that song so it can get in the strip joints, drug house, and many other places. So when people playing that song, they might not be thinking that it's a Christian song, gospel song. And when they start hearing it, you know, it might turn around and make the stripper say, oh man, after she finished dancing off of it, you don't think about it, man, I was dancing off this, oh God watching me. Or the drug addict dude that's smoking crack or whatever, he might hear the song, say, oh man, after he finished smoking, oh man, realize that God is watching me. Put it down and stop it. That's what my intentions was with that song when I produced it. I even made me some little rap songs myself, just playing. Just playing. I never let them get out. We all play. When I'm with friends of mine, I joke. Call them punk motherfuckers, big head motherfuckers, little shoe nigga. They joke back. So I can play on putting rapper songs and many other songs, as long as I don't put no shit out like that. I work for God, but I never want to front and use his name and ain't real with it. Don't think because of the fact I say I work for God that if somebody do something to me, I won't fight back. Because somebody did something to Abraham. Somebody did something to Moses. Somebody did something to Jesus. And many other God's people. They all fall back. It's not what they wanted to do. But I'm hoping everything I do it in peace, love, and harmony. I want to see people love each other, enjoy each other. And if any of you people, again, have some negative things to say, come talk to me about it. You don't have to shout it all out and lie. Especially when you think you're tough and you're hard. Male or female. Females talking about Silk, you talking about you got your gangster friends. Or many other. You know, people gotta be behind cameras to manipulate people to be negative about me. Man, I'm in a wheelchair. I took things from people when I was a little kid. Everything I got today, I got in honestness. People would think that I went in there, empowered people, told crazy to people. No. I think the people I did business with trusted me. Some things went wrong, some things went right. But I'm never trying to hurt nobody. Especially nobody trying to hurt me. And anybody got a problem with me, they can come holler at me. We'll leave it all in God's hand. That's my story. Bye.